Today's chilling case involves a deadly web of deception and envy. Thomas Montgomery, a 46-year-old father and Sunday school teacher, posed as a young Marine to seduce 18-year-old Jessie in an online chat room. As their virtual romance heated up, jealousy boiled over when coworker Brian Michael Barrett entered the picture. In a fit of rage, Thomas took matters into his own hands, ending Brian's life in a brutal act of violence. Let's investigate this mystery immediately. In 2002, Brian graduated from Starpoint High School in Pendleton, New York, a rural town near the Canadian border where he lived with his family. After graduating, he decided to get his 2-year degree at Erie Community College and worked part-time at DYNABRADE Corporation in Clarence to pay for college. After graduating, he decided to become an industrial arts teacher and a teacher. Brian registered at Buffalo State College near his home, but he continued his part-time factory job where he was known to be a very hard worker in 2006. At 22, Brian finally started to come out of his shell and even started showing an adventurous streak. He spent his time fishing, camping, and trying out new things, but he didn't do any outdoor stunts like many young people. Brian enjoyed conversing with strangers on his computer, but he had no idea what was going to happen. On Friday, September 17, 2006, Brian left the DYNABRADE power tool plant at 10 p.m. and got into his truck to go home, but someone shot him at close range with a .30 caliber rifle before he could start it. 3 bullets exploded from the driver's side window, striking him in the left arm and neck and killing him instantly. 2 days later, a coworker found his pickup truck in an isolated part of the company parking lot with his lifeless body still in the front seat. Police began their investigation and quickly learned about a possible suspect in the slaying. Thomas Montgomery, a 46-year-old machinist from Cheektowaga, lived a normal life with his wife Cindy and their 2 daughters. He worked at DYNABRADE, the same factory as Brian, but his life was nothing like Brian's. In May 2005, posing as a young, handsome Iraq-bound Marine, he entered a teen chat room on Pogo.com with the screen name Marine Sniper. Almost immediately, an 18-year-old girl with the screen name of Tall Hot Blonde started messaging him, so he decided to pretend he was 18 too. After a few friendly chats, the girl revealed that her real name was Jessie, a softball-playing West Virginia high school senior. She sent Montgomery photos that Tommy was 6'2", like the 46-year-old, but that was it. Tommy was a black belt in karate, with bullet scars on his left shoulder and right leg, and thick red hair. Montgomery sent Jessie a 30-year-old photo of him in uniform from his brief military service. Montgomery also created an elaborate ruse about his persona as Tommy. He told Jessie that his mother had died of cancer when he was 12, and his father was in the military. After living a tough life, he enlisted in the Marines after a boot camp in June to train as a sniper and was headed to Iraq. Montgomery was nostalgic about the 6 years he spent in the Marines as a young man, and U.S. Marine records show that he qualified as a sharpshooter. It was Jessie who began sending Montgomery explicit photographs, thinking he was 18. Over time, the relationship grew, and they were indulging in virtual sex, which became more real to Montgomery than real life. Jessie and Tommy exchanged gifts, phone calls, and love letters, and at one point, Jessie even sent a pair of red underwear in the mail as a gift. Jessie and Tommy had settled into a routine of talking by phone between 6:30 and 6:40 a.m. and 3:30 and 3:40 p.m. when Jessie was led to believe that her Marine love was off duty about 8 months after they met online during Christmas. Tommy proposed marriage, and Jessie accepted all of this without ever meeting in real life, but his fantasy did not stop at the computer screen. In February 2006, Jessie messaged Montgomery while his daughter was on the computer. Shocked, the child told her mother. Cindy was already suspicious about his long hours online and his reduced involvement in their lives, and now everything made sense. She also found a bunch of love letters, photos, and mementos from Jessie, including the pair of red pants. Cindy sent Jessie a photo of her family with a letter saying, "Let me introduce the man in the center. He's Tom, my husband since 1989, and he's 46 years old." She urged her not to trust words on a computer and let this go because a man who has learned manipulation and lying can injure you. She also told her husband, "I cannot believe you're living some type of crazy fantasy. If you want to separate, we can. But to continue to lie to me and the kids while she's bringing you things in the mail is not acceptable." Jesse instantly broke up the connection, calling Montgomery a liar and saying that she loathed him and that he should be in prison for this sham. But she couldn't believe it. To confirm, Jesse sought out one of Montgomery's coworkers, Brian Barrett, who went by the online moniker Beefcake. Brian corroborated Cindy's story to Jesse, whether it was retaliation or just disgust. Jesse turned to Brian for comfort, and soon they developed their own cyber romance. As their relationship grew more intimate, she sent Brian the same pictures she had sent Montgomery, and their budding relationship was all over the internet. Brian also boasted about his new love interest and revealed Montgomery's disturbing actions to his coworkers. Montgomery was furious. In a few days, his life fell apart, and he went from being a respected community member to a pariah. Jesse's romance with Brian fueled Montgomery's jealousy, especially when Jesse praised Brian, saying, "He's honest, he wasn't a liar like you were, and he's closer to my age." Despite her wrath, Jesse eventually started contacting Montgomery again. Despite these threats, Jesse kept going back and forth between the two men, something that would not end well. The final nail in the coffin was when Brian and Jesse decided to do something that Montgomery never could. Brian was driving down to North Carolina, and on his way back, he asked Jesse to meet him, as he'd be driving very near her house. Jesse initially agreed but canceled at the last moment. However, Montgomery was burning from blind rage. After determining that Montgomery had motive and opportunity to do the crime, authorities reached his home, concerned that he was on the run and that perhaps he intended to hurt Jesse. When West Virginia police went to Jesse's home, she wasn't there. Instead, Jesse's mother, 45-year-old Mary Schuyler, opened the door. Investigators had no idea they were in for another surprise. Officers noted that even after they described the situation, Mary was not concerned but rather calm. They could not believe what she told them next, as the layers of deceit peeled off one by one, sending chills down the detectives' spines. Under pressure, Mary confessed that neither Montgomery nor Brian had ever talked to Jesse, and that she had taken her daughter's identity and email address and entered a teen chat room on Pogo posing as her daughter. She also sent provocative pictures to strangers without her daughter's consent. The real Jessie was unaware of her mother's sick fantasies or that there were photos of her scantily clad spree. On November 27, 2006, Montgomery was arrested for the murder of Brian Barrett. He claimed to have gone to a local restaurant and returned home between 10 and 10 past 10 p.m. before the murder. But his wife testified that he arrived more than 30 minutes later. Montgomery's mobile records showed him to be in the vicinity of DYNABRADE at the time of the murder. When questioned, Montgomery claimed that he had to retrieve his lunch from his car. Authorities found a photo of Montgomery's gun cabinet with a .30 caliber rifle that was gone after the murder, as well as a leather cartridge case covered in dog hairs. In September 2006, Montgomery pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter in the death of 22-year-old Brian Barrett in 2007, and he was sentenced. Brian was murdered by a person pretending to be someone he wasn't, obsessing over another person, pretending to be someone she wasn't. Closure may elude us, but the truth is out there. Keep your eyes peeled for the next mystery to unravel. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and turn on the notification before leaving. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.